So today we shall do one thing. We shall try to because I think we are having two servers. So we shall do some work on our servers today. Are you able to get the screen?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, one
No,
second.
no, sir.
Okay, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So coming back, I think we are running two instances. I hope you are putting your instances on stopped stage before closing your account. Are you guys stopping your servers whenever you have no work?
Yeah, sir.
So please make this a habit. Whenever you are having no work, please stop your instances. Okay. So today,
Okay, sir.
what shall we do is we shall try to access our server and we shall do some operations. Okay, we'll try to transfer some files to the server. Okay, so everyone logged in to your Ubuntu server. So everybody is successful.
Yes, sir.
So, for example, EC2 Connect, we have tried Session Manager, we tried Putty, we tried, right? So, in all these, in Ubuntu, we are getting only terminal, right? There is no GUI, correct? So, if you want to sell, for example, on my desktop, I have some file, okay? If I want to transfer this file to server, how can I do? Any guess? Any guess? How can we transfer our files to server? Are you getting my point?
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Now, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just asking. Like even you can try it. If I have some files on my desktop or else my project files. Okay, so I want to transfer this project files to Ubuntu server. Okay, so any guess how we can do that?
Sir, your voice not clear, sir. It was stuck at that point.
I think there is no change today. Now is it clear?
Actually, not clear.
Are you getting me now? There is no problem with internet, and this also working properly. Now are you getting my voice properly? Are you guys able to hear me properly now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now it's fine,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm just asking a simple question, like if I want to transfer my files to server. How can I do that? Any guess? So we have seen that we have connected to Ubuntu server. So we made that easy. So if I click on this, so here you can see I have connected to my Ubuntu server. Okay. Now I want to send some files to the server. How can I do? Any guess? Even
Using
if it is
commands.
okay, very good. Do you know any commands? Any guess? Any command names?
ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ చేయడానికి అయితే టచ్ కమాండ్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం.
Okay, very good. Touch command is used to create file. But touch command will create file on server, right? But I have already my files. I want to send these files to server. జనరల్గా ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మన విండోస్లో ఏం చేస్తాం? ఐ థింక్ ఎవ్రీబడి ఈజ్ యూజింగ్ విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. సో విండోస్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టంలో ఏం చేస్తాము? ఒక ఫైల్ని ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్కి తీసుకెళ్ళాలంటే
సెలెక్ట్ చేసి సెండ్ చేస్తాం సార్, కాపీ చేస్తాం.
ఓకే కాపీ దెన్
కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేస్తాం సార్.
right. So copy
పేస్ట్
paste is
చేస్తాం.
possible when you are having some GUI, right? మన graphical user interface లో కనిపిస్తే we can copy and paste. That everybody knows. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఏమంటున్నాం ఇక్కడ, we are having this Linux operating system. Linux server we are using. As you can see, Linux server doesn't have any GUI. మనకేం ఇక్కడ graphical user interface లేదు. So everything we should do using commands only. Correct?
యా సార్.
సో కమాండ్స్ వచ్చేసి మనకి కాపీ కమాండ్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. కాపీ కమాండ్ అని విన్నారా ఎప్పుడైనా?
నో సార్.
Okay, so I think you guys are not aware of commands. Okay, I get it. So we shall do one thing. So we'll try to transfer our files to our server today. Okay, so one of the easiest method I will show. So one is you can one possible way is you can use copy command. Okay, so copy command తో చేయొచ్చు. But I think you are not little far from commands. We'll try to explore some commands tomorrow. Then we can start that process. Instead of that, there is another process called we'll use some software. Yesterday we have used putty software, right? So putty software, we can be able to connect to our terminal and we can run our commands. Okay, so putty software laga there are different softwares available for us in the market. So today we shall try one tool which will help us to transfer our files to the server. Okay, so the tool which we use today is
జెంకిన్సా సార్?
కాదు కాదు అప్పుడే అక్కడి వరకు మనం వెళ్ళాం. ఇంకా మనం బేసిక్స్లోనే ఉన్నాం. ఇంకా మనం డెవాప్స్కి వెళ్తే అప్పుడు వీల్ యూస్ జెన్కిన్స్. ఓకే, సో దెర్ ఈస్ వన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ కాల్డ్ WinSCP. ఓకే, సో అందరూ ఎఫ్టిపి అనే వర్డ్ విన్నారా ఎప్పుడైనా? ఎఫ్టిపి
నో సార్.
ఓకే, సో మనం ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్ అయితే విన్నాం కదా.
ఎస్ సార్, ఇట్ ఇస్ WinSCP is the one of the SSH client.
అది ఓకే. ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్ మనం ఎక్కడ యూస్ చేసాం?
ప్రైవేట్ పుట్టిజన్ సార్.
కరెక్ట్. సో పుట్టిజన్ యూస్ చేసి వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ దిస్ ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్ కమాండ్. ఓకే, సిమిలర్గా ఏంటి అంటే ఎఫ్టిపి ఈజ్ ఆల్సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రోటోకాల్. ఓకే, ఇదేమో షెల్ కమాండ్స్ యూజ్ చేయడానికి. ఇదేమో ఎఫ్టిపి. సో ఎఫ్టిపి స్టాండ్ ఫర్ ఫైల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ప్రోటోకాల్. ఓకే. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫాల్ట్ పోర్ట్ నంబర్ ఫర్ ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్? ఏ పోర్ట్ నంబర్తో లాగిన్ చేసాం మనం?
Sir,
గుర్తుందా?
22.
22. Okay. Similarly, we'll use this mode for FTP protocol. Okay, so FTP protocol లో ఏం చేస్తామంటే we will be trying to transfer our files. Okay, సో ఆ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్, ఈ ఫైల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ కోసం స్పెసిఫిక్గా యూస్ చేస్తాం. సో టు డూ దిస్ ఎఫ్టిపి విల్ బి యూజింగ్ సమ్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్. సో చాలా సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ ఉంటాయి బయట. సో ఫైల్స్ ఇలా అని అండ్ విన్ఎస్సిపి అని. సో ఆర్ యూ కెన్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఎఫ్టిపి ఎఫ్టిపి సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అని పెట్టుకుందాం. సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్, సో ఫైల్స్ ఇలా, సో విన్ ఎస్సిపి, సో ఇలా చాలా నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ మనకి ఉంటాయి. యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఎనీ ఆఫ్ ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఫర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫరింగ్ యువర్ ఫైల్స్. సో ఇక్కడ చూసినట్టయితే గుడ్ సింక్, ఫోర్క్ లిఫ్ట్, ఫైల్స్ ఇలా, ఎఫ్టిపి సర్వర్, కమాండర్ వన్. Okay, so there will be so many softwares. So today we'll try to explore one tool. So mostly all other tools will also follow the same process. Okay, so అన్నిట్లో కూడా సిమిలర్ గానే ఉంటుంది. యాజ్ వీఆర్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ దిస్, వీల్ బి వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ ఓపెన్ సోర్స్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. సో వీల్ బి లుకింగ్ ఫర్ ద ఫ్రీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్. ఓకే, సో విన్ఎస్సిపి అనేది కూడా ఇది ఒకటి ఫ్రీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అనమాట. ఓకే, దిస్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ is also free, so you need not pay for any licenses. Okay, so we'll try to learn with this software. Okay, so click on this. So you can see when directly you can go to Google and search for this software called WinSCP. Okay, so WinSCP website lo you can get the software. It is a very very small software, you can download and use. So click on download now. So I think it is a 11 MB software. Download it. Okay, open the software. I think I have already installed the software, so I'll uninstall it first. Okay, so I have downloaded the software from the website. Okay, so I'll be installing the software called WinSCP for doing this FTP operations. So install, accept, next, next, install. Okay, so simple process of installing the software. No, and click on launch, or else you can directly launch from the start menu. Okay, so go and search for WinSCP. Right, so here you can see there will be two sections in this software. Okay, so the left section will be for your local computer, and the right section will be for your remote computer. Okay, So what you can do is simply you can this is actually a GUI software where you can just simply drag and drop. Okay, so this left side is my computer, my local computer. So if you want to send any files to the server which will be on right side, simply what you can do, you can just drag and drop in the right section. Okay, so that is very very simple and very very helpful software. It will make your work very very easy for you. Okay, so or else if you are doing it in a manual process, so you need every time you need to execute commands. Okay, so that job will be done easily using this WinSAP software. Okay, so now what we shall do, as we can see our left local computer is visible, but in the right section you can't see your server. So we can see the file system on your server when you connect to it. Okay, so we shall try to connect to our server now. So simply what you can do is you can click on this new session. Okay, so click on this new session, and it will ask you for host name, you know, your IP address or DNS name of your server. Similarly, you know your username. Similarly, you know your password. Okay, so we can log in using this method. Okay, first we shall try log in using our Ubuntu server. Okay, so get back, close this. I hope all of you guys are making notes, right? Steps for the notes. Please make this a habit of making notes. Guys, I'm just asking, are you guys writing notes?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, because you'll forget after the class, you might not be able to recollect. So please write notes. Okay, because there are so many steps involved. Please make notes. So coming back, I'll go to my EC2 section. Okay, so two instances are running. So I'll try to connect to my Ubuntu server. So to connect to my Ubuntu server, I need host name, and we'll be using username and password. So if I click on this, click on connect, and do you remember we don't get any password for Ubuntu server, right? Correct. So what we'll be using for password, instead of password, what we can use? What we can use in Ubuntu server for connecting? In Putty software, what we are using?
Private key.
Right. So in this section, here you are seeing this key section. No, right? So it will be available in the advanced section. So if you click on advanced, so in this section, just under this SSH, and when you click on this authentication section, so here you can upload your PPK key. Okay. So here also the process is same, but there we are using in Putty, but here we are using this WinSCP software. Mostly any other softwares which we use to log in into your servers, it will be comprising of two to three things. Only three things mainly. One is your IP address, second is your username, third will be your PPK or PM keys. Okay, so we are also little familiar with this process. So click on new. I'll give the host name. So you can give the public IP address. Copy, paste. So next I need username. So username is EC2 hyphen user, EC2 hyphen user. Okay, and now I need password. So password we don't have for Ubuntu servers, whereas in Windows server we can upload our PEM file and we can generate a password. But for Ubuntu, we don't have that facility. You can just upload your PPK key here. So in the password section, click on advanced. So under this SSH section, you'll find a section called authentication. So in this private key file section, you need to upload your PPK file. So click on this. So this is the file. So this is a PPK file for my server. I'll click on open and I'll click on OK. Okay. I have provided my IP address, username, and I have added my PPK key. Okay. Then click on login. And then we can click on yes. Right. Now you'll be able to log into your server. So this is our server section. Okay, in this server section you'll be able to, so here you can see these are your server folders. When you click on this up, so these are all your server files. Okay, so here you can able to transfer your files to the server directly. Okay, so remember that all your server files are not accessible directly. As you can see, once you see this rights section, you can see different R, XR, XR, X. So these are all different read and write operation permissions. Okay. So don't think that every file can be accessed. No. Okay. If you have permissions, then only you'll be able to upload your file. So we'll be uploading this. This is our username, EC2 hyphen user. So inside this user, we'll be uploading our files. So what you can simply do is you can just get into your drive. So this is my desktop. So I'll click on AWS. So these are all my files. If you want to upload to the file, simply you can just select and drag it to your server section. So that will upload your file. Okay, so uploaded. Similarly, if you want to upload a bigger file, drag and drop. Okay, so these files will be uploaded to your server. Similarly, what you can do, you can even get the files back to your server, sorry, from server to your desktop. So simply what you can do, just drag the file and drop it back to your desktop. So this communication will help you to transfer to server, whereas getting the file from server to our local system. So this is how you will do upload and download of the files from the server. Okay. So this is in respective to the Ubuntu operating system, right? So in the same way, we have another operating system, right? Windows also we are working on. So we might be having need to work on this Windows server. So we shall try that also. Okay. In Ubuntu, this is the process, and Windows there will be a little change in the process. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, if we want to transfer one file from one server to another server, then we need to add another server in another one
Mm,
part of this WinSCP.
that I'm not aware of. Even I didn't try that. Mm, good question actually, but we never tried it actually. Server to server we don't use. So basically, we have tried this storage. We have S3 bucket. So from S3 bucket, we can directly access to any of the servers. So that we have done. So what we should just simply do is you can upload your file to S3 server, where in S3 server you'll be getting one link. So using that link you can use on any of the servers. So in that way we do mostly, but server to server communication we didn't do actually. So when the need comes, we'll just simply upload our files to online S3 buckets. From there we'll get a link. So that link we'll use on any place. If you want to use in 10 servers you can use. If you want to give it to the end user, we can use. So in this only the communication will happen between only one server and one desktop. Okay. So this is how you'll be transferring files to your Ubuntu, and now we shall try with Windows Server. Okay. So getting back, so we'll
Yes.
go to our instances. Okay. So Windows Server. So click on connect. So what we need, I'll go to new session. This is session for Ubuntu. Here, if I click on new session, we can connect to another server. Okay, so click on this new session, and what we need, one host name, username, and password. Okay, so I'll click on this RDP. So here I'll get my username, sorry, IP address, copy IP address taken. So similarly, I'll take username, copy, paste the username, and this password section, we know we can generate a password from here. We can do that. So click on password, upload, and decrypt the password. So the password is generated. So you can use this password. So copy and paste it here. Okay, and click on login. Okay, what is saying, network error, connection to our server timed out. So it is not able to connect to our server. So this is taking another retry to connect back. So any guess why it is not working? Okay, so basically this won't connect. So I know why it won't connect. So as you know that I have given proper IP address, I give proper username and proper password, but still I'm unable to connect to the Windows server. Okay, so this thing should work even for Windows, and this also should work for Ubuntu, but Windows is not working. So this is how basically your real time office experience will be. Okay, so one method will work and sometimes it will not work. So basically when you're working learning this AWS or DevOps, so I request everyone to uh, put more interest in problem solving. Okay, so uh, you should be looking after problems, and you need to try to solve the problems. So as you can see, this is one of the problem we got. So we are giving everything correctly. We have given correct username, correct password, correct IP address, everything is correct, but still it's not working. And the same scenario for Ubuntu, it is working. Okay, so basically this is how what you'll be facing in your workplace. So I'll just give you some time, because you need to learn how to fix problems. Okay, so I'll do one thing, I'll give you some, because it is 8:45. So I'll give you time for 15 minutes. You just try to explore and try to fix this. Okay, are you guys getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll give you 15 minutes and try to fix it. Okay, try to connect to our
Okay, sir.
Windows server. Okay, using this software
Okay, sir.
only. Okay, try, give it a try. So I'll come back and I'll ask you at 9 a.m. Okay, guys, are you there? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, have you tried to figure it out? Have you guys tried to
So we
figure
tried
it
it,
out?
sir, but we are not sort it out.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
still trying, sir, but no short.
okay. So I'll do one thing. This you will take for homework. So we shall try another topic. Okay. So this you try to explore. Tomorrow, I think we will take the full day and try to close it tomorrow. Now we shall try some another thing. Okay. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So one thing is today we'll try to explore one more topic. So basically, it is called as elastic IPs. Okay. So we'll explore this thing today. So first thing before understanding this elastic IP, so what we shall do is first we should understand IP address of a server. Okay. So for example, if you go for
Sir, screen on
steps
that.
screen, huh? Okay,
Sir,
so
we are not.
yeah, yeah, I'm sharing one second. Okay. So are you getting the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
we'll try to explore one more topic. So that is under your network and security section, you will be finding an option called elastic IPs. Okay. So we shall try to work on this today. So first, before entering this, you need to understand what exactly these are elastic IPs. So before that, you know that your instances, so all your instances, whether it is Ubuntu or whether it is Windows Server, when you open your server, as you can see, all your servers are working on this public IP address. So why we are using this public IP address is such that we can access it from outside. Okay, for example, the other day we try to create one server on Stockholm location. Okay, so we are located in India, so we need to access the server which is located at Stockholm, which is very very far away. So each server will be running on some IP address. So simply you can imagine that one server will be given some same to our mobile number. Okay, so each server will be having one mobile number. If you want to connect to our server, we will be contacting through this number. So that is nothing but this thing, this IP address. So there are two types of IP addresses, IPv4 and IPv6. So IPv6 is the latest version, but still they say that around 75 to 80% of all IP addresses are still following IPv4 only. Okay, IPv4 is the version, V6 is the new version. Okay, so basically most of the 80% of the websites will be running on IPv4 only, so no problem with that. So why V6 and V6 will be like some more secured features. Okay, so as you know, this is the IP address. So for what is this? So our Windows server is there. So copy. So our Windows server, it is running with IP address this one, 13.127 212.78. Similarly, we'll also note one Ubuntu server. So Ubuntu server will be running on different IP address. Same applies to your Ubuntu server also. Same, like you can just imagine like mobile numbers. So no two mobiles will have the same number. Okay. So similarly, even if we are creating hundreds of thousands of millions of servers, each server will have different IP address. Okay. So this is the place we'll try to connect. So as you can see, we are using this IP address for connecting through putty, right? So putty, we are dialing this number, we are giving username and we are giving password. Similarly, we wanted to do operations through WinSCP. So here also the same. So what we have done, we have given this IP address and we are given username and password. So whenever you want to connect to your IP address, so this will uh, we need an IP address. Okay, so the problem with IP address is every time when your server restarts, this number will be changing. So that is why what I have done, I've just stored this IP address for your reference purpose. So Windows server, it is running on 13.127.212.78. Similarly, Ubuntu 3.110.162.160. Okay, so let us see what happens when we restart our server. Okay, so I'll get back, I'll just restart. I will do restart for both. So how to restart? So click on instance and reboot the instance. Reboot will restart your server. So click on reboot. Again, I'll do one thing. Reboot, instead of reboot, we can try stop also. So I'll select this thing. I'll click on stop instance. Stop. So just to show you that what will happen when your server restarts or come back after stopping. So it is still in stopping stage. And this we have given for restart. So okay, so I think this haven't changed, so we'll just stop. Okay, we are stopping the instance. Okay, so let the ubuntu also stop. Okay, as you can see, both of my instances are stopped. Okay, so this is my IP address before stopping. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just restart my server. Okay, so maybe you can think today I have finished my work and tomorrow I'll come again to start my server. So just select, click on instance and click on start instance. Similarly, you can select your Windows. Similarly, click on instance state and change it to start instance. Okay. Okay. So I think one I have this Ubuntu server got restarted. So I'll just click on this instance. We'll see. So as you can see, my instance is in running condition. It has restarted, correct? So now you can see the public IP address. So this is my public IP address. So we shall see, is it the same address? So we shall see copy and we shall recheck. Okay, as you can see, this is my old IP address and this is my new IP address. So what happens is every time when you restart your your server, the IP address will be changing. Okay, so for example, if you take facebook.com, okay, so as you know, facebook.com will be working on some IP address. For example, this is the Facebook server. Facebook server will be running on fb.com. Okay, so what happens is every time when you are restarting, uh, uh, the person will be not able to connect properly. So what we are using is we are using some DNS name system such that we are assigning this fb.com. It is a naming space. So this fb.com will be connected to this IP address. So previously nobody will be able, nobody can remember this IP address, right? So every time when IP address is changing, some this changing of IP address can happen in so many ways. One, sometimes your server might crash, or sometimes there will be need that you need to restart because of some update, or you are upgrading your infrastructure, or maybe sometimes because of power failure, or some malfunction with your system. So there will be so many reasons where your server might need to have some restart, or we can say reboot, or on or off. Okay, so every time if it is changing this IP address, this is a problem for us. so we'll not be able to connect. So one, we know that, okay, every time, for example, if you want to log in using this WinSCP, every time the IP address is changing, so you need to provide this new IP address to all your users, right? So that is a difficult task. So in that case, what we do is, there is one solution for us. So what is the solution is, the solution is elastic IP address. Okay, so you can ask like, what is this elastic IP address? Okay, so whenever your server starts, okay, so it need to get connected to the internet, right? So every time when you connect to the internet or www, so the internet will provide you one IP address. Okay, so this is what will happen every time when your normal computer, when it's get into the internet, it will be given one IP address, right? So that is the reason it is changing every time. So this IP address will be provided by the internet, that is World Wide Web. Okay, so what Amazon is doing is, Amazon is helping us in not changing the IP address. Okay, so what we can do, so this IP address will not change, so we don't want to change the IP address. So for that we can use this elastic IP service. So remember that this elastic IP service is a paid service. Okay, this is not free service. Elastic IP address is optional and available. If you are working on this free tier, only 24 hours of IP address will be provided. That means this elastic IP address will be provided for 24 hours only. After 24 hours, you will be charged for the elastic IP address. Okay. So for example, it will charge for one day, it will charge $1 to $2. Okay, so how to use this elastic IP addresses? Once you get this practical part, you'll catch it very easily. So I'll go to the elastic IP section. Okay, so what I'll do is, first I'll create one IP address. Okay, so first I need to create one elastic IP address. So this elastic IP address will be fixed. Okay, so click on allocate IP address. So just click on allocate. That's it. Only two steps. Create, allocate IP address, and create, allocate. Okay. So now what you can see, one IP address has been given. Okay. So the IP address is, so elastic IP address. Okay, so this is my elastic IP address. So copy and paste. Okay. So remember that this IP address will be permanent. Okay, it will not change. So what we need to do is, we need to bind this IP address to our server, whatever it is. It might be our Ubuntu server or Windows server. Okay, so for example, this IP address is there, so I will assign this IP address to my instance. Okay, so by instance, for example, Ubuntu server, it is starting from 3 3 1 1 1 4 9 1 2 8. Okay, so what will I do? Instead of running my Ubuntu server on this IP address, so I'll be running from elastic IP address. So here you can see elastic IP address empty, so we'll assign this elastic IP address. So get back to this elastic IP. So this is my elastic IP. Remember one simple point, elastic IP will not change. Elastic IP will not change. It will not be changed when you restart or shut down or whatever you do. This is fixed IP address. Okay. So click on this, select your IP address and just go to this action section. So in this, there is two options available for you. One is associate elastic IP address and release IP address. Okay, what this associate elastic IP address will do is, it will bind or assign to one specific service. For example, I can associate this IP address to my Ubuntu server. Okay, similarly, I can associate this IP address to Windows server. Similarly, I can associate the IP address to my Ubuntu server. So then what happens if I assign, so that server will be working on this IP address. Okay, so we shall see in practical. So click, and I click on associate IP address. Okay, so we are working on instance here, right? So instance is there. So we'll see which instance. So refresh. So as you know, we are having two instances. Now what I'll do, I'll associate with Ubuntu server. Okay, so I'll select this Ubuntu server and click on associate. Okay, so you can see the details, allocation ID, associated instance, to which instance it has been connected. Okay, I'll see the information. Now we will get back to our instance. As you know, we have assigned it to one Ubuntu server, right? So go to instances, and now just click on your Ubuntu server. Okay, so you can see elastic IP address. Okay, so simply for your understanding purpose, we will try to connect to this instance. So every time you know that we will be working through this public IP address, right? So as you can see, the public IP address also changed. So what was our previous IP address? So this was our old Ubuntu IP address, 3.110.162.116. So this was my old, and after restarting, this is my new IP address. Now elastic IP address is 61, 65, 129, 228. So this is my IP address. Okay, so now I can connect using this IP address. So you know that whenever we are restarting our server, this number should change, right? But it will not change now. Why? Because we are running our server on elastic IP. So for your understanding, what will I do? I will now try to restart my Ubuntu server. Let us see even after restart if it changes or not. So right now my IP address is this. Okay, I'll try it now. Right now IP address is 65, 129, 228. Okay, so again instance state, and I'll say reboot the instance. Okay, restart. I'll select, click on instance, reboot. I think it's restarting within seconds. So I'll do one thing. I'll stop and I'll start again. So stop. It is taking longer time to stop. And one more thing I forgot to tell. Uh, one elastic IP address can only be associated with one server. Okay, so this is one elastic IP address. So this IP address can only be used to one single server. You can't use the same IP address to multiple servers. As you can see, we have associated with one single instance. Okay. Okay, now as we can see, our Ubuntu server is in stopped condition. Okay, so what was our IP address before stopping? So before stopping, the IP address is 65.129.228. So this was our IP address. So now what I'll do, I'll restart our server. As you know, when you restart your server, the IP address should change. So I'll click on this Ubuntu server, click on this instance state, and click on start instance. Okay, it is starting now. Okay, now our Ubuntu server has started successfully and it is in running condition. Okay, so now we'll get back and see. So click on this. So as we can see, now the public IP address will compare. Okay, so what was our old IP address? 65, 129 and 228. As you can see, the IP address has not changed. Why? Because we are using this elastic IP address. Okay, so this elastic IP address will not change. It is a fixed IP address which will be associated or linked to our instance. So what we have done, so we have created one elastic IP address. Okay, and after creating this IP address, we have associated this IP address to our Ubuntu server, right? So now our Ubuntu server is running on this elastic IP address, which is a fixed one. Okay, if it is running on normal IP address, every time you restart it will change. Okay, so when you are creating this elastic IP address, if you run your server using elastic IP address, it will not change. Okay, so now you understood how to create an elastic IP address and how to link the elastic IP address to the server. So now we shall learn how to remove the link. Okay, so get back to your elastic IP address. So as you know, we have associated what we have done. So we have selected our IP address. Okay, so this is the IP address we have selected, and we have clicked on actions button. So previously we have done associate IP address. Associate IP address is nothing but linking, whereas disassociate elastic IP address. So that means unlink. Okay, so disassociate with will unlink the server. So as we know, we are running on this Ubuntu server, right? So Ubuntu server is running on this one. So I'll remove the link. So if you click on this, and if I click on disassociate IP address, so click on that, it will remove the connection between your Ubuntu server. So click on disassociate. Okay, so now you can see this elastic IP address is free. Okay, it has no connections. Okay, it is free. So that means this IP address you can connect to any other. So previously we have connected this to Ubuntu server. Now you can link the same IP address to Windows server also. So we shall get back and see what is the position of this Windows server, sorry, Ubuntu server. So what we shall check the IP address of our Ubuntu server now. Okay. So now as you can see, our Ubuntu server is running on 13.233.0.103. We shall compare. Okay. So new after this associating elastic IP. Correct. So first it was normally our Ubuntu server was running on this IP address. Okay, forget this fb.com. Then what we have done, we have restarted. Okay, after restarting, new IP address they give. Okay, so what we have done, we don't want our IP address to change. So what we have done, so created elastic IP address. So that is nothing but this one. Okay, after this we have assigned elastic IP to Ubuntu. Right now, Ubuntu is working on elastic IP. Right? So we have checked that. So after that, we have linked the assigned elastic IP. So similarly, we call it as what we have done. We have associate. Right? Associate. Remember the name because associate and disassociate we are using in our elastic IP. So associated to Ubuntu. Now Ubuntu is working on elastic IP address. So what we have observed, even after restart, IP address won't change. Correct? We have practically tested that. Even after restarting our Ubuntu server, we have observed that our Ubuntu server is working on the same IP address. Correct? So after that, what we have done, uh, D this I think disassociate. I think it. This is this disassociated or unlinked. We can say unlinked elastic IP address from Ubuntu. So after disassociating, what we have found out. So we have found out that Ubuntu server is running with new IP address. Okay, so now what happens is if our Ubuntu server is working with normal IP address, as we know, if we restart, the IP address will change. Okay, so when it is associated with elastic IP address, it won't change. Okay, so now as you can see, this is working on this public IP address. So as you can see, elastic IP addresses no. And as you can see, this elastic IP is available. Now you can link this elastic IP to your Windows server also. So what you can do, the process is very simple. So go to actions, associate elastic IP address. Simply what you need to do, you need to select your instance. So I will select Windows server and click on associate. Okay, so now get back to our instance. When you click on this Windows server, as you can see, it is running on this IP address. So this was the same IP address which was associated to Ubuntu before. And now you know, even if you restart this Ubuntu server, sorry, Windows server, the IP address will remain the change. Okay, and one more important thing what you need to understand is associate we have done, similarly disassociated. So disassociate. Okay, and now you need to, if you want to remove this, okay, remember that this elastic IP address service is a paid service. Okay, so that means it is, this feature will not come under your free tier. Okay, so every time you create this elastic IP address, Amazon will charge for you. So what I request everyone is, after doing this practical part, please remove the elastic IP address. So how to remove your elastic IP address is, just select, click on actions, and click on release IP address. Okay, so click on this. So it will remove the IP address. Okay, as you can see, the IP address has been removed. So remember that, please don't forget to release your IP addresses. If you forget to release IP address, what happens is Amazon will start asking you for the bill payment. So I think elastic IP address, it is only available in on free tier. They are giving you the access for 24 hours only. Okay. So after the 24 hours, they will charge you. So remember to remove the elastic IP address. Okay. So when I scroll down, you can just click on this view your bill. Okay, so in this section you'll be finding that they are charging you for elastic IP addresses. Okay, so please always try to remove your elastic IP address. Okay, so I have shown you how to remove your elastic IP address. I'll show you again because this is important. So scroll down, you'll find the elastic IP section. So in this actions, you need to click on release IP address. Okay. One more thing is, whenever your IP elastic IP address is linked with any of the instance, first you need to disassociate. After that, you need to release. Okay. Directly, it can't be released because whenever it is working on some instance, directly you can't delete it. So first you need to unlink, then after click on release elastic IP address. Okay, so that is it for class today, and I want you guys to practice these two things. One is working on WinSCP, and second one is elastic IP address. Okay, and I think I gave one homework for you. Try to connect with FTP to Windows Server. Okay, so shall we end the class for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we shall
Yes,
meet
sir. Okay,
in
thank you.
tomorrow's class. Okay. So three assignments I have gave you.
So
So
One is work with WinSCP with Ubuntu. Okay, then create elastic IP, associate elastic IP, disassociate elastic IP. Okay, this you need to practice today, and for your homework, try to connect to Windows Server with WinSCP. Okay, this you can try. Okay, so we shall meet in tomorrow's class. Okay.